Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, Romero Ravener, and we need to talk about something truly terrifying. Something that's haunted me for years. Something that could be happening right under our noses. We're going deep, guys. Deeper than we've ever gone before. Today we're diving headfirst into the dark and twisted world of cannibalism. Get ready to have your mind blown because I've got 10 shocking facts that will leave you sleeping with the lights on. So, cannibalism. Where do we even begin? It's a topic that has fascinated and horrified humanity for centuries. The very thought of consuming another human being is enough to make most people recoil in disgust. But why is that? What is it about cannibalism that strikes such a deep primal fear in us? It's the most taboo subject out there, the ultimate act of depravity, eating another human being. The act itself is shrouded in mystery and horror, often depicted in literature and film as the ultimate descent into madness. But beyond the sensationalism, there's a complex history that spans across different cultures and eras. I mean, just saying it out loud sends shivers down my spine. The idea of cannibalism taps into our deepest fears and anxieties. It's a subject that forces us to confront the very nature of humanity and what it means to be civilized. But the truth is, cannibalism has been around for centuries. It's not just a modern-day horror story, it's a practice that has been documented throughout history. From ancient rituals to desperate acts of survival, cannibalism has taken many forms and served various purposes. It's a dark part of human history, and it's more common than you might think. In some cultures, it was a way to honor the dead, believing that consuming the flesh of a loved one would allow their spirit to live on. In others, it was a method of survival in extreme conditions, where the choice was between cannibalism and death. Let's start at the beginning. The earliest evidence of cannibalism dates back to prehistoric times. Archaeological findings have uncovered human bones with cut marks, suggesting that our ancestors may have practiced cannibalism. These early instances were likely driven by survival, as food sources were scarce, and the harsh conditions of the time left little room for moral considerations.
Indeed, cannibalism has been documented in various cultures throughout history. In ancient Egypt, there are records of cannibalism during times of famine. The Aztecs are known to have practiced ritualistic cannibalism, believing that consuming the flesh of their enemies would grant them strength and power. Even in medieval Europe, there are accounts of cannibalism during sieges, when food supplies were cut off and people were driven to desperate measures. From ancient civilizations to more recent times, it has been practiced for a variety of reasons, including survival, ritual, and even warfare. During World War II, there were reports of cannibalism among soldiers who were stranded without supplies. In more recent history, the infamous case of the Donner Party in the 19th century is a stark reminder of the lengths to which people will go to survive. It's a topic that reveals a lot about the human condition and our capacity for both survival and horror. Cannibalism forces us to confront the darker aspects of our nature, challenging our understanding of morality and civilization. It's a reminder that, under the right circumstances, the line between humanity and savagery can become dangerously thin. As we delve deeper into this history, we'll uncover the stories and motivations behind this unsettling practice, shedding light on a subject that is as fascinating as it is horrifying.
Now, when we think of cannibals, we often picture like ancient tribes in remote jungles. These images are deeply ingrained in our collective imagination, often fueled by stories and movies that depict these tribes as mysterious and terrifying. But what is the reality behind these depictions? Are they just myths, or is there some truth to them? And yeah, that's not totally inaccurate. Many tribes did practice forms of cannibalism, but the reasons behind these practices were often complex and deeply rooted in their cultural and spiritual beliefs. It wasn't just about survival or barbarism. It was about rituals, traditions, and sometimes even respect for the deceased. There are documented cases of tribes practicing cannibalism for centuries. Historical records and anthropological studies have shown that these practices were widespread and varied from tribe to tribe. Some did it as part of war rituals, others as a means of absorbing the strength or spirit of their enemies, and some as a way to cope with grief and loss.
The Four people of Papua New Guinea, for example, they had this ritual called endo-cannibalism. This practice was not just a random act of violence, but a deeply spiritual and cultural ritual. It was a way for them to connect with their ancestors and ensure that the spirits of the deceased remained within the community. They would eat the remains, specifically the brains, of their own relatives. This might sound gruesome to us, but for the Four people, It was a sacred act. They believed that by consuming the brains, they were absorbing the wisdom and strength of their loved ones, keeping their memory alive and their spirit close. They believed it was a way to honor the dead and keep their spirits close. This practice was a form of mourning and respect, a way to deal with the loss and ensure that the deceased were never truly gone. It was a profound expression of their beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife. It's fascinating and horrifying at the same time. The idea of cannibalism is repulsive to many, but understanding the cultural context can provide a different perspective. These practices, while shocking, were part of a complex web of beliefs and traditions that define the lives of these tribes. They remind us that human cultures are incredibly diverse, and that what might seem terrifying to one group can be sacred to another.
But cannibalism isn't always some ancient ritual. Sometimes, it's about survival. One of the most infamous examples is the Donner Party, a group of American pioneers who got snowed in the Sierra Nevada mountains back in the 1840s.
They were starving, desperate, and they resorted to eating the bodies of the dead to survive. It's a chilling reminder of what humans are capable of when they're pushed to the absolute brink.
Chapter 4.
Okay, now let's talk about some of the most infamous cases of cannibalism in history.
We've got Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee monster, who not only killed and dismembered his victims, but also ate parts of their bodies.
Then there's Armin Meiwes, the German cannibal, who actually found a willing victim online who wanted to be eaten.
These cases are beyond disturbing, and they show the truly dark side of human nature. Chapter 5.
So what makes someone a cannibal?
What goes on in the mind of someone who could even think about eating another human being?
Well, it's complicated.
In some cases, it's a mental illness like a psychotic break or a form of schizophrenia.
In other cases, it's driven by a deep-seated need for power and control.
It's a way for them to exert dominance over their victims, even in death.
It's truly chilling stuff.
Chapter 6.
And the scariest part is, cannibalism is not just a thing of the past. Throughout history, there have been numerous accounts of cannibalism, often tied to rituals, survival situations, or sheer madness. From the ancient tribes who believed in consuming their enemies to gain their strength, to the desperate acts of survival during famines and shipwrecks. The act of consuming human flesh has been documented across various cultures and eras.
It's still happening today. Despite the advancements in civilization and the progress we've made as a society, there are still instances where this horrifying act resurfaces. It's a chilling reminder that some primal instincts and dark urges can still manifest in modern times.
There have been recent cases reported all over the world. From isolated incidents in remote areas to shocking crimes in bustling cities, the phenomenon of cannibalism continues to make headlines. These cases often leave communities in shock and disbelief, struggling to comprehend how such acts can occur in today's world.
In 2017, a man in Florida was arrested for biting off parts of another man's face in what appeared to be a random attack. This gruesome incident was widely covered by the media, sparking debates about mental health, drug abuse, and the underlying causes of such violent behavior.
And in 2012, a man in Canada killed an 80s boyfriend before mailing his body parts to politicians. This case, known as the Canadian Cannibal, shocked the nation and led to a highly publicized trial. The perpetrator's disturbing actions and the subsequent investigation revealed a complex web of psychological issues and criminal intent.
It just goes to show this is not something that's gone away. Even with the passage of time and the evolution of societal norms, the dark underbelly of human nature can still surface in the most unexpected ways. These incidents serve as a grim reminder that the potential for such acts still exists, lurking beneath the surface of our seemingly civilized world.
It's still lurking in the shadows. Whether driven by madness, desperation, or some other unfathomable motive, the act of cannibalism continues to haunt the human psyche. As we move forward, it's crucial to remain vigilant and aware of the darker aspects of our nature, understanding that while we may strive for progress and enlightenment, some shadows are harder to dispel.
Now, you might think humans are the only ones capable of this kind of horror, but you'd be wrong.
Cannibalism exists in the animal kingdom too.
Praying mantises are notorious for it. The female will often bite the head off of the male after mating.
And then there are hamsters. Yeah, cute, cuddly hamsters.
They've been known to eat their own young if they feel stressed or threatened.
Nature is brutal, guys.
Cannibalism has also been a popular subject in movies and TV shows for decades.
I mean, who could forget Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal Lecter, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
These movies tap into our deepest fears and fascinations with the taboo.
They show us the dark side of humanity and make us question our own sanity.
So you might be wondering, is cannibalism actually illegal?
Well, it's complicated. There's no specific law against cannibalism in many countries, including the United States.
However, there are laws against murder, desecration of a corpse, and other crimes that are usually committed in conjunction with cannibalism.
So, basically, it's not technically illegal to eat someone, but it's pretty much impossible to do it without breaking a bunch of other laws.
And here's that shocking fact I promised you. Did you know that, in some cases, human meat is actually indistinguishable from pork?
Yeah, you heard that right. Forensic anthropologists have said that the muscle fibers and texture are very similar.
It's a disturbing thought, and it makes you wonder, how many times has cannibalism gone undetected?
It's a chilling thought. So, there you have it. 10 shocking facts about cannibalism that will keep you up at night. It's a dark and twisted world out there, guys, and the more you learn about it, the less you want to know. But hey, that's why you have me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy content. And stay tuned, because next week we're diving into the world of real-life vampires.